When you think of war, you probably picture soldiers, maybe tanks, battles on a physical field. But the front lines, they're changing. Today, a single string of code can be just as destructive as a bomb. The lines between a digital attack and a physical act of war are getting blurrier by the second. So let's get right into it. So what does it even mean for a cyber attack to be considered an act of war? This is not some sci-fi question anymore. The stakes are incredibly high. We're talking international treaties and the very real possibility of military retaliation. And this quote right here, it just lays out the new reality perfectly. This is from Admiral Rob Bauer, and it's a huge deal. Article 5, that's the absolute heart of NATO. It's the "an attack on one is an attack on all" clause. For a cyber attack to even potentially trigger that kind of response, that changes everything. It literally elevates a digital breach to the same level as a conventional military assault. That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to talk about this stuff in theory, but what does a cyber attack that has the same impact as a physical invasion, what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, to get that, we need to look at a case that sent absolute shockwaves across the globe. So let's talk about the NotPetya incident back in 2017. And look, this wasn't just some random hack. It was a watershed moment, a real turning point in the history of cyber warfare. It kicked off in Ukraine, but man, it spiraled into a global catastrophe almost overnight. To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number. $300 million. That was the financial damage to just one company, the shipping giant Maersk. Their entire global network, 76 port terminals, 800 vessels, just crippled. And they were only one of the many, many victims. Now here's where it gets really clever and scary. On the surface, NotPetya looked like your standard ransomware. It locked up your files and popped up a message demanding Bitcoin. But here's the thing. The payment system was a total sham. The email address for sending proof of payment, it was shut down almost immediately. Its real purpose wasn't to make money, it was pure destruction. It was what we call a wiper, designed to just overwrite the master boot record on computers, making them completely and permanently useless. And how did this thing spread like wildfire? It used a super powerful vulnerability called Eternal Blue. Now get this, it was reportedly a tool developed by the NSA that later got leaked. And the real kicker? A patch for this exact vulnerability had been available for months before the attack even happened. It just goes to show you that basic cybersecurity stuff like patching your systems on time isn't just IT homework anymore. It's a matter of national and economic security. Yeah, an attack this sophisticated, this destructive, this is not the work of some lone hacker in a basement. This is the calling card of a totally different kind of adversary. What people in the security world call an advanced persistent threat, or an APT. So let's break down what that actually means. So here's the textbook definition, but the phrases you really need to focus on are state-sponsored group and remains undetected for an extended period. These are not smash-and-grab jobs. We're talking about long-term strategic campaigns for espionage and disruption, and they've got the full resources of a nation-state behind them. Breaking down the name really says it all. Advanced means they have serious skills. They build their own custom malware. They use all sorts of sneaky techniques. Persistent means they just don't give up. They have a mission and they will quietly sit inside a network for months, even years, to get it done. It's that low and slow approach. And threat? Well, that's the easy part. They have the skill, the money, and the motive to cause some serious, serious harm. And believe me, this isn't just ancient history. The threat from these APTs is constantly evolving. And right now, it's targeting the very foundations of our physical world. A pretty recent joint advisory from the top U.S. security agencies is sounding a brand new alarm. And just look at who's putting out this warning. CISA, the FBI, the NSA, and the Department of Energy. Okay, when these four agencies get together to issue a warning, it means the threat is credible, it's serious, and it needs attention right now. This is not a drill. So what did they find? Something deeply concerning. It's a brand new custom-built toolkit specifically made to attack what are called industrial control systems, or ICS. You can think of ICS as the digital nervous system for our physical world. These are the systems that control power grids, water treatment plants, you name it.
And the advisory gets super specific. This isn't some broad spray and pray kind of attack. It is laser focused on the actual brains behind industrial automation. These things called programmable logic controllers, or PLCs, from major companies. These are the little rugged computers running everything from a factory floor to a power station. It's clear the attackers did their homework.
And this toolkit they found is basically a digital Swiss Army knife for sabotage. It can hunt for targets, crack passwords, and just knock devices offline. It can even deliver something called a packet of death, which is a malicious command that just crashes the PLC. That could halt a critical industrial process, cold, until someone physically goes and reboots it. Basically, it gives an enemy the power to disrupt or even destroy physical operations from halfway around the world.
Okay, so the threat is real, it's sophisticated, and it's here, now. But the good news is, we are not helpless. The same warning that details this threat also lays out a pretty clear roadmap for how to defend against it. The guidance really focuses on some fundamental, high-impact stuff. First, multi-factor authentication. It's a simple idea that makes cracking passwords, like this APT toolkit is designed to do, way, way harder. Second, change default passwords. It is absolutely shocking how often this basic step gets overlooked. And third, network isolation. The systems that run a power plant should never be on the same network as the front office email. Creating those digital air gaps is critical. These aren't magic bullets, but they are powerful shields.
Which really brings us to the final thought here. NotPetya showed us that a digital attack launched in one country can cause billions in damages across the entire globe in just a few hours. These new APT toolkits show a clear intent to bridge that gap between the digital and the physical worlds. So, in this new kind of battlefield, where attacks move at the speed of light and our physical infrastructure is in the crosshairs, where do the old borders even apply anymore? And how do we possibly defend them?